Hi, I'm Mike Lardy, and today Daniel and I want to share with you the best way to grow spiritually. Now, if you've watched our previous two videos, you've heard that most churches and actually most pastors believe that people grow best in an environment where they get good teaching on Sunday mornings. But reality shows us is that that's pretty far from the truth. What we've learned is that spiritual growth happens best when done with others who share the same goal of becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ. And this takes place, the setting for this takes place within real relationships. And it's the very need for those real relationships that God actually takes and He uses to build disciples. So the reality is personal relationships just can't happen in a crowd, can't happen on Sunday morning. People grow in small environments where it allows for people who are total strangers and people who barely even know each other, and they come together and they form a discipleship family. But rather than teach about this, Daniel and I actually thought that we would share a story from two ladies who took last year's summer discipleship class. And so we asked them the question, well, what makes this training different than an ordinary class? And so let's listen to what they have to say.
So Shanda and I both took the discipleship class back a while back, and this wasn't your ordinary class. It was, sure, we had our workbook and we learned a lot of valuable information, but I think the main difference was just the relational environment that was set up in these meetings, and also the fact that we were shown how to run a discipleship group. We didn't just learn about disciple making, we were experiencing the disciple making happening and the relationships building in that group. And even to this day, I would say that we've grown closer because of that time together. So it's not just a bunch of information, not just a workbook, it's way beyond that. It's learning how to do a discipleship group and how to become relational and become closer together. Yeah. Would you agree?
I would have to definitely agree. Even if, with Erin for sure, we knew each other prior, and the group definitely brought us more closer, where I knew about her more. And, you know, looking at the whole thing, I would think, you know, pastor's wife, you know, they always have the perfect life. And it's not about perfection here at Woodlands or in general, but especially Woodlands, I've learned that a lot. And in discipleship training, I actually let out more things that I thought were taken care of prior in my life, you know, from the past, things that keep a lot of us, most of us, bitter and angry, or maybe not being a discipleship maker. There are days I just didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't. And that was a day that the Holy Spirit actually broke me again in my life, and it was so intense. I don't want to get in detail. Hopefully you decide for yourself that you want to try something different in your life and lives of other people around you. But where I was getting with it was, it's like investigating more of yourself within and taking time for yourself and with God, and just things just come up to surface that you just wouldn't believe. It's indescribable.
And on that night that you're talking about, what blew me away is that we had all these plans and discussions, but all that could go out the window so that we could pray for you, and we could pray over harmony and over serenity and over your situation in your life. So more than anything, that was like just a powerful, life-changing moment for me. So, you know, pretty amazing. It's nothing you would ever get in a class. So
that's for sure. Very for sure. And you know, I felt so bad, like this is not my group, it's not always about Shanda. But you're right, Erin, it was very intense, and I didn't feel bad afterwards. I felt so much more a part of everybody at Woodlands, and just
and we felt like more part of your life, that you would let us into that deep of a level. So it was, you know, it showed us like what true relationship and true discipleship is all about.
So as you can see from Erin and Shanda's testimony, in just 12 short weeks of being an intentional relational discipleship in the discipleship training, our group of 10 to 12 people who are meeting just once a week came together in a transformational and powerful way, where people were sharing things that they would have never shared before. Couples were sharing things about their past that they never thought that they would ever share outside of the confines of their marriage. People were sharing things that were raw and going on in their life in that very moment, and we were stopping to pray for them. You see, relational, intentional discipleship can be life-changing, even in a training class. You see, when it comes to discipleship and when it comes to what Mike said in the very beginning about spiritual growth, the best way to grow spiritually isn't necessarily in a Bible study or small group, though there's nothing wrong with either of those two things. And in fact, in some ways, we would encourage those. But the best way to grow spiritually is in intentional relational discipleship, where true, real relationships are being born and you're being held accountable, encouraged, and challenged to live your life for Christ through powerful stories, through powerful questions, and through conversation that goes deeper than just questions about a Bible passage or about the things that are going on in your life. Be on the lookout for a video in the next few days, and we're going to have another sneak peek of the discipleship training for you guys all to see. And if you have any questions about this discipleship training, if there's any burning questions that you have, or you're curious about what happens in the training, or what kind of commitment it is, or you're just curious about discipleship, send Mike or I an email with that question, and we're going to answer it. Or you can just leave a comment at the bottom of this video, and we'll answer your questions in the coming days. But look forward to seeing the next video in a few days, and be thinking and praying about the opportunity that God is giving all of us to make disciples on this mountain.